This is Computer Science Discoveries, Unit 3, Lesson 17, and we are on the last level here of this lesson on complex sprite movement. Let's talk about what we've done so far. All right, we have this little flybot here, okay? We can control him with the up arrow. He'll kind of move up, and I'm just tapping it a little bit. If I use the left arrow, it starts to accelerate to the left. If I start pressing the right arrow button, she starts moving to the right. And in the last level, what we tried to do is try to program, haha, if they in fact touch each other, the coin resets. So now that we've got these mechanics, it says here, it's time to make it your own. What do you want to have happen? Should the character get points every time it touches or collects a coin? Can you add a scoreboard like you learned in the last lesson? Do you want to make another coin and have two of them floating around out there? What about a bad coin if you touch that, or it could be something else where if you run into that, it takes a point away. There are a lot of options. I think first, and you can play around as you want, but let's remember how to add the scoreboard and get that in there. All right. Go under the drawing toolbox and find this text string command. Now, a lot of times we put things up outside the draw loop. However, the text isn't going to show up if it doesn't come after you draw the background. And since my background is inside the draw loop, that means it gets redrawn every single time, which means I need the text to come after it so it gets painted in front, kind of drawn in front. I want this to say score. Now, if I do that right now, it's super tiny up there. Ew, I don't like that. I'm going to move it over a little bit. So it's not right at the edge. So see it scooched over. I'm going to move it down a little bit simply because I'm going to make the font bigger. So I'm going to grab text size right away. Make sure you put all of these attributes or characteristics for your text before the text actually is commanded. I'll try 20. All right, that's okay. I think I want like a colon after the E. Okay, a couple spaces perhaps. And I really want it to be a bigger size. Okay, or I already did size. Sorry, I meant color. Fill color. Well, yellow. Do you like yellow? How about, I don't know, would like a dark blue look better? It kind of fits with this whole theme. Do you like that? Green. Play around with that however you want. But now I've got the text appearing. That's just going to stay there as kind of a static thing. Now we want the number to happen. That has to occur a little differently. It's going to be a number that keeps changing. So in order to make that happen, we have to first define a variable, and that can be up here at top. Okay. And you can call it what you want, point, score, whatever. I think sometimes we get confused because I use the text score and then I'm going to have a variable score. So just to kind of keep these separate so it's a little more clear for you, I'm just going to call it count. Okay. And my variable count, I'm going to start and say, whoops. See, I should pay attention to where I'm going. And if I could actually type today, that would be delightful. All right, so here's my variable count. I'm setting it equal to 0. All right. And then what I'm going to do, and what doesn't it like? Yeah, it's not called in my program yet. That's why it's throwing that triangle. You're right. Every time these two touch each other, I want to add to the score. So in this is touching part, that's when I want my variable count to increase. So I am going to say count will become count plus 1. All right. Okay, let's see if we can make this happen. So I got my little flybot. There we go. I got to go this way. I got to go this way. What? what? No, what? Come back, come back. Okay, it's touching again. Now, that's cool, but I don't see anything happen here. Why is that not happening? Because we need to, right next to that text for score, which is right here on line 13, I also want to have the number show up. And so you have to do that as a separate piece. Go back to drawing. Text. Okay. I'll put this here. Now, here's what is different. Okay. If I just put count there and I put in numbers here, like, let's see, I want it to have a Y position of 50, so it's lined up. But if I put a number of, let's say, well, let's try 50 and see what happens. Now, do you see what happens here? It looks like score round. Something's not right. First of all, let's get this shifted so that it's further over. Maybe 70 will work. Okay, I got to go a little further. There's a little bit of overlap here. Maybe I'll go 80 pixels over. What does that look like? That's still too close. Let's make this 100. Let's go. That might have been a little too much. Let's try 90 maybe. Okay, now that's stupid. Coins in the way. Okay, do you like the way that looks? Cool, except it says the word count. I don't want the word count. I want the actual number. When it's in quotation marks, inside quotation marks, it is going to print that actual text. So watch what happens on line 14 right now. I take off quotation marks and then watch what happens. All right, let's see. I got to get my flybot up here. Come on, come on. Oh, I got a point. Did you see? I made the score. All right, now we got to fly way over here. There's another point. My robot went flying off. Oh, where'd he go? Where'd he go? I got to have him come back. Come back. He went way off the screen. All right, so it appears now my counter is working. All right. Sign the variable for it. You have to put in the counting part so it will add. And then the last part is making sure you don't have quotation marks for whatever you called the variable. Now, in prior programs, they used score words and score as variable. Sometimes I think that's confusing. That's why I wanted to do it this way. All right, do you want to add something more? Do you want to add a second coin so that if they hit either of the two coins, you would get a point? That would be cool. How would you do that? Or do you want some kind of bad monster, like in Pac-Man when they switch, the ghosts switch over and then you would lose a life because you got eaten or those two were touching? Maybe you want something like that. I don't know. What else is in that animation that we could find? Do you want to look for some? Let's see, what did they have? Characters. I suppose that's where this was. So do you want some kind of creature that would be bad, like maybe this monster, a wing bot? Oh, how about a spike bot? Oh, he looks awful. Okay, something like that. If we added this guy in here and made him the bad one, just remember now, when you do that, you have to start from the beginning. Go back to sprites. You'd have to add, okay, let's see, what's this guy? Add. I'm not a big fan of super long variable names, okay? Now, you'd probably also want this one to have some random positioning because everything defaults to 200, 200, and I wouldn't want that to happen. And if we added some random number in there, okay, 0 to 400, 0 to 400. Okay, Now what'll happen initially? Okay. Whoops, what doesn't it like? Oh, you know why? Because I didn't set the animation. Spikebot, the Spikebot. Now look at him. He's huge. I'm probably going to need to scale him down because he's way bigger than the coin, and my little flybot is probably going to run into him a lot. So just to make things a little more fair, maybe we'll do this. And let's make his scale. What do you think? 3/10? A 3/10 scale? How does that look? That looks a little better, I think, don't you? Yeah. Okay, now he's appearing, and he will appear in random places, but much like what happened in this is touching loop, okay? When we touched the coin, it reset its X and Y position and added a score. So likewise, we'll kind of do a similar thing and say if the character, and we got to grab an is touching, again, we could say if character is touching the bad sprite, then we're going to reset X, Y, and we're going to do something with that variable. Oops, and I can see I already have issues with that one. Let's grab Y, lock that in. All right. If character is touching bad, position of bad is going to reset to be a random number between 0 and 400. And then I want to take that count, and I'm going to take the count and subtract 1. So you've really got to avoid that. All right, so I'm going to capture this coin. Yay, I have a point. I'm coming on back. I'm coming on back. Oops, oops. Okay, see what happens? And I've got to keep finding my robot and see what happens. All right, have some fun. Play with this level, make this game start to react the way you want. By the way, you might even want to do a little bit more with some of the velocity. Do you get frustrated at how he just kind of keeps drifting off the screen? See if you can contain that a little more or make him a little more reactive and see what happens. Good luck and have some fun. Happy coding.